Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, legislation aimed at protecting folks from hazing is now headed to the governor's desk. We take a look at what it took to get Loftons Law through the legislature.
The Pentagon is scrambling to collect wreckage following an American drone collision with a Russian jet over the Black Sea. Now U.S. and Russian officials are pointing fingers at who they say is to blame.
Plus, we've got some showers ahead as we head through the end of the work week, when they work in and when mild air moves in as well. Coming up as Mountain News at 5:30 starts now.
Dedicated to Southern and Eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley.
And I'm Olivia Calfee. Loftons Law, a piece of anti-hazing legislation in honor of a UK student who died in 2021, is heading to the governor's desk.
The bill made its way through the House this afternoon. Kelsey Soto takes a look at what's in that legislation.
For far too long, hazing has been this awkward rite of passage in Kentucky that many still refuse to acknowledge was wrong.
Senator Robbie Mills from Henderson sponsored Senate Bill 9, dubbed Loftons Law, after 18-year-old Lofton Hazelwood died in 2021 of alcohol poisoning at the University of Kentucky. This measure would add the Commonwealth to a list of 13 other states that have elevated the act of hazing to criminal status of a felony. Right now, universities have the burden of disciplining, and the max punishment is expulsion. His parents sat before the House Judiciary Committee to discuss changes to the bill to clear up some clerical concerns and other language.
I want to, first of all, thank you guys for coming here and for bringing this before us. I also want to make sure you know and the world knows that Senator Mills and Representative Dixon, also Representative Miles, have worked very hard on this bill. At first, I had a number of problems. I know a lot of legislators did. And, they were dogged in their pursuit of this to get this done for your son, but for all Kentuckians. So I wanted to thank you for coming and also make sure you're aware of the really good work that your representative and your senator has done. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The committee passed a substitute 15-1. Senator Mills says this bill will hold people accountable and prevent other parents from going through that sort of pain.
That was Kelsey Soto reporting. Senate Bill 9 passed through the House 96-3. Meanwhile, the CDC recently released new statistics that says teen drinking is on the decline, but 27% of female teens currently drink alcohol compared to 19% of male teenagers. In 2021, 23% of high school students had drank alcohol in the last 30 days.
Calm winds, cool temperatures, and blue skies has been the calling cards of Wednesday weather-wise throughout the region. There you see the current look outside from Hazard, outside our studios here at WYMT. Skies completely blue, not a cloud in sight. You can't really see the clouds that aren't there on Pine Mountain from US 119. Yeah, I understand that doesn't make any logical sense, but in any case, we still see the shadows through the sunshine there. It's been a beautiful day. We continue to boost some of those temperatures, low 50s for much of the region, the upper 40s currently staying into portions of the Big Sandy right now, and pinpoint Doppler is a clean sweep. So as we head through the next 12 hours, we're going to start to see clouds develop, but it's still going to be a chilly night tonight, getting us down into the 30s as we head into the overnight hours. Guys, that's ahead of a rain chance that works in not necessarily tomorrow, but into tomorrow night. That'll bring us the possibility for showers. Those details in a few minutes.
Thank you, Evan. An incident in the skies over the Black Sea is escalating already strained relations between the U.S. and Russia. CBS's Skylar Henry has the latest from Washington, D.C.
The U.S. says it will continue to fly missions near Ukraine, even after a Russian jet caused a U.S. drone to crash.
Make no mistake, the United States will continue to fly and to operate wherever international law allows.
The U.S. often flies drones over the Black Sea as it monitors the fighting in Ukraine. It's not uncommon for Russia to scramble jets to intercept them, but the Pentagon says things went too far this time, saying a Russian jet approached the drone from behind, dumping fuel. U.S. officials believe the pilot meant to come up in front of the drone so it would fly into the fuel cloud, but pulled up too soon and clipped the drone's propeller, which is located in the back.
This hazardous episode is a part of a pattern of aggressive and risky and unsafe actions by Russian pilots in international airspace.
Russia's ambassador was summoned to the State Department to answer for the actions. He says Russia did not cause the crash and said the drone was flying dangerously close to Russian-controlled territory. The Pentagon says it's working to declassify the video to show the world what happened. Meanwhile, some lawmakers are calling on the Biden administration to respond to the incident forcefully.
The bottom line was they attacked a United States aircraft, and they did it in international waters. This is not acceptable, and this is simply not going to go away. This one has to be addressed, and it has to be addressed with a very firm hand.
There's now a race with both Russia and the U.S. trying to recover the downed drone, but America does not currently have a ship in the Black Sea. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
A national security spokesperson says even if Russia beats the U.S. and recovers the drone first, it will have a hard time exploiting whatever intelligence material is on board. The U.S. uses the surveillance drones to gather intelligence on Russian military activity, which it shares with Ukraine to help in its war against Russia.
Environmental and indigenous groups are separately suing over a newly approved plan to drill for oil in the National Petroleum Reserve. The group Earth Justice and Trustees for Alaska is asking a judge in Alaska to use an injunction to stop ConocoPhillips from working on the initiative. The lawsuits argue the impact carbon emissions could have on threatened species should be taken into consideration. Supporters of the project say it would create jobs and decrease dependence on foreign oil. The Department of Justice says former Trump aide Peter Navarro cannot blow off a subpoena entirely in a contempt of Congress case. Navarro was charged last year after failing to comply with a congressional subpoena. The now defunct January 6 committee had requested testimony and documents from him, but Navarro ignored the subpoena. He pointed to a communication from former President Trump's attorney suggesting executive privilege was asserted. The Justice Department says that would only apply to official White House business.
There's more fallout from the failure of two major U.S. banks.
CBS News has confirmed the Department of Justice has opened an inquiry into what went wrong at Silicon Valley Bank.
CBS's Errol Barnett has more on that and customers who are still uncertain about their finances.
With SVB now operating as a bridge bank with new leadership and all deposits fully backed by the federal government, its former top brass face increasing scrutiny. CBS News confirms the Justice Department launched an investigation Tuesday, while the Wall Street Journal reports the SEC also began a probe into the former Silicon Valley Golden Child's collapse. According to the Journal, stock sales last month made by SVB's former chief executive officer and chief financial officer will be examined closely. Former CEO Greg Becker has not spoken publicly since the collapse, but addressed his employees Friday.
I care so much about all of you. It really is just so incredibly difficult.
Becker sold more than $3 million worth of his shares in the company, fewer than 2 weeks before his house of cards fell. The transaction was scheduled a month in advance and does not necessarily suggest wrongdoing.
I expected the SEC and DOJ to be coming in.
Jacob Frankel, a former SEC enforcement lawyer, says the investigation into potential insider trading is of most interest to him.
What they're going to look at is, what did the CEO know when he established the plan? And was there any modification to the plan?
Still in shock, Melanie Travis tells CBS News she only got access to her business's millions of dollars yesterday. She says her luxury swimwear business will likely lose money as a result of the chaos.
Even though it's there, it's moving very slowly. And so we have a list of all of our suppliers, and we're just calling every single one to say, we're not going to be able to pay our bill.
Errol Barnett, CBS News.